Don't move.
All right.
She says, stay that way and don't move.
All right. Well,
Yes.
now we are starting.
Yes.
Well, Ginger, I have to welcome you, fellow Texan. I have
My
to
goodness.
welcome you home.
It's so nice to be home, too. Really, it's wonderful. And to get here and look out at the beautiful sky and see that nice warm sunshine, it's lovely.
Yes, it may be a little warmer than
I
it
don't
needs to
mind
be.
it. I don't mind it. I'm saying that very lovingly. I don't mind it at all because I'm kind of used to having warm Texas days. Before there was air conditioning too. You know?
Yes, we all remember that,
Yes,
don't
because
we?
my home in Fort Worth did not have air conditioning, and I pulled through it pretty well.
Yes. Somehow we do survive.
Pretty well. Survived.
Ginger, I think it is just smashing that you are taking an interest in this project of film preservation. And is this something that you've always been interested in?
Well, Bobby, I think it's because some of the wonderful films that were made are just being lost. Absolutely. Well, they're disintegrating in their little film receptacles. And it's a shame to see these marvelous things that could go and need now to be put on safety film. There are so many wonderful old films. And I've always had an interest in that. You see, I used to own copies of all the films that I did, for example, and I gave them to TCU when I was, you know, Texas Christian University, and they in turn gave them to the Smithsonian Institute.
Did they
Which I think
really?
is funny, but they were all of the same material, and that's nitrate.
Yes. We may be getting a problem with your
Oh.
bracelets.
Oh,
Yeah, if-
want me to take them off?
I think maybe we better. Yeah. 'Cause,
All right, honey, okay.
Okay. All right. Ginger, of your own films, are there any that are lost?
Dear, I don't really know that there are. I couldn't say. But I'm just of the opinion that whose ever film is in that state of nitrate should be preserved if they're possible to be found. And it takes money and dollars and effort and love and a lot of care, which I'm very proud of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for taking this really great interest in seeing that they are. For the students and for the people that come after us, you know, that need to see what was going on and what some of the good things that happened at that time.
Now, you mentioned that you had given your films to Texas Christian University.
Yeah.
They, in turn, presented them to the Smithsonian.
That's what I was told.
Ah,
I don't know this firsthand, but I was told that they had given it to Smithsonian Institute, who in turn would put it into a vault, you see, and this vault would have to be something that's very cold to preserve them, and it's not, it doesn't really do it for very long. That I'll tell you. And if you have Technicolor film, that is priceless. You probably have heard the story of what happens to Technicolor.
yes, yes,
I'm sure that Faye Kanan has told you.
yes.
Technicolor Company is only in China and in, where else is it? In China? I've forgotten the other country. We don't own Technicolor anymore.
That's
in
right.
In this country.
We can't make the Technicolor prints anymore.
No, no.
Ginger, if you could keep for posterity
Yeah.
only one of your films, which one would it be?
Oh dear. I think Kitty Foyle, because it tells the story of an American woman of that day and date. It's a young woman who is fighting for her own freedom of thought, and she stands up to anyone. With, of course, she does it. She takes a lot of losses along the way, but she does it because she has her own form of principle. She is principled in her own way, which I think is rather nice.
And of course, you won the Academy Award for your performance.
Yes, that I did, and I'm very grateful to the Academy for that, and to my peers who voted for me at the time.
And you had really stiff competition that year. Do you remember your competition?
Yes, ma'am, I remember it very well. Do you know who my competition was?
Well, I'd rather you say.
Well, it was Betty Davis in The Letter, Katharine Hepburn in Philadelphia Story, Martha Scott in Our Town, and Joan Fontaine in Rebecca. Well, now that's a pretty, and then I was the fifth, there are always five, and I was the fifth person to be voted for, happily. And surprised as I was, I won. I was shocked.
Who did you think would win?
I didn't think, but I just didn't think that I would. I just didn't feel that I would. I was working so hard that really I was at a point that I thought, well, may the best man win, whoever it is, you know. I was heavily worked at that time.
Ginger, were there many people tested for Kitty Foyle?
For the role?
For the role?
No. No. There was no one tested for it. It was given directly to me.
Was it written with you in mind?
No, it was a book. It was a book of Christopher Morley's, and it was one of the top sellers. So Christopher Morley wrote the book, the studio bought the book, and therefore they began to figure out who they could get to play it. And the producer came to me and said, would I be interested in doing this kind of movie? And I said, well, let me read it. And of course it's a long story, but when the finished script came out and I was given that to read, I was thoroughly convinced that this was something I wanted to do very much. David Hempstead was the initiator of this. He was the producer. And David had me in mind from the beginning. He said, I never wanted anyone else to play it but you, which was really quite a compliment. But that didn't say that he could actually have whoever he wanted. I don't think, but happily it all worked out because it was all on the RKO Studio contract with them that I was to do whatever they asked me to do. Unless, of course, I walked out like some people I know did and walked out and were on suspension. I never took a suspension.
And you never had any uneasy moments about it? I mean, you just felt positive about it?
Oh, I felt certain that when I read the script, Bobby, when I read that script, I knew that whoever played that film, whoever it was going to get a nomination. I didn't say they'd win an Academy, but I knew whoever played it would get a nomination. And I thought, oh dear, could I be the one that this would happen to? Happily, I was. Of course, I was frightened beyond my skin when they told, so that my name was announced, that I had won. This was at the Biltmore Hotel in Los Angeles. I can't believe.
Frightened?
Well, yes. I mean, if somebody says to you, and in our business, it's like saying you're the President of the United States.
The mantle you just felt was
I just thought, well,
heavy
gee
mantle.
whiz, you know, this is too unexpected. I really had not expected to win it.
But you did.
But I did, and thank God I did. Thank God.
Ginger, there is a story going around now in the press that Katharine Hepburn dumped a pail of water on your head. Is that true?
Oh my goodness, that's such an old. That's an old saw, but it wasn't a pail of water, no. But it was. I had on a new mink coat, and I came to show it to my friend, the director. I didn't know the Katharine Hepburn. And so she heard me say, this is new mink. This is my new mink coat. And she had some water, and she says, if it's new, if it's mink, it won't shrink. Well, so so it didn't shrink, so what?
But was it, as the press
Not a
is
pail of water, no. it wasn't.
as the press is reporting it, was that she did it because Howard Hughes was interested in you rather than her?
How can I be the motive? How can I be behind her thinking? Can I? I don't know why she did it. No way. No way to know.
So why, I guess now it's because of that book on Howard Hughes, that's why that's surfacing again, I guess. Because
Don't
I
ask
really,
me. I have the foggiest notion why. But people have their own motives to do whatever they do. And you don't say to somebody, what's your motive for doing this? No?
Yeah.
Do you? No.
Will you read the book that she's writing,
That who's writing?
that Terry Moore is writing about?
No, I haven't read it.
I mean, I don't think it's out yet, but will you want to read the book she's writing on Howard Hughes?
I very seldom read those kinds of books. Very seldom. Very seldom. I mean, they even make movies about actresses I've known, and I won't read the books about them because I don't like what they say.
Has she interviewed you or talked to
She?
you?
No. No.
Would you talk to her about Howard Hughes?
Would I talk to Terry Moore?
Or anybody?
No.
No.
No, I wouldn't because I'm writing my own book. Why should
Are
I
you?
talk to her?
Are you?
Why should I talk to anybody about what I'm writing?
Is Howard Hughes going to be in the book?
Yeah,
Ah.
sure.
And when will that be out?
Next year.
Will you come back to Dallas and we can talk about
Oh,
it?
I hope so. I'd love it.
Oh, we have to.
I'd love
We'll
it.
make a date right
Bobby.
now.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
I'd love to have you talk to me about it at the time. Very
All
much.
right. You have a publisher and all that?
Well, I have a publisher's agent all lined
Mm-hmm.
up ready, and he's awfully good, and so I don't feel that it would be with the knowledge that he has, and I don't think it'd be too difficult to get a good publisher. He's a very good guide. He's done some very wonderful things, so I think he's pretty good to handle it.
Well, Ginger, it's just lovely to see
Wonderful
you.
to
And I
talk to
know
you
you've
again.
got many other things to do. But thanks for coming to Dallas, and thanks for your
Well,
interest in film preservation.
I just am in love with this idea of seeing that this is done, and I just hope that I wish that we could go around with a tambourine and ask our people to, would you give us a dime, a quarter, a nickel, or something to help do this, because it's such a worthy cause. And you
Indeed.
think of all the things, the films that can be saved. C.B. DeMille's films are all made of nitrate. All. Just for an example. And, of course, Clark Gable, Joan Crawford, Greta Garbo, etc., they're all nitrate film. So we've got to save those.
And if they don't get transferred to safety
If they
film...
don't get transferred to safety film, they're finished. They're ruined.
All right. I may get a tambourine and help you.
Yes, please do, Bobby. We need you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Ginger.
honey. Nice to see you again.